All right, friends, so we are here to talk about our Module 9, Lesson 2. There are 3 instructional videos that are going to go along with this one. This is number 1. Remember to be utilizing our graphic organizer that's going to kind of lead us through the secret keepers. Right now we are on this first instructional video. After this you'll continue reading, so on and so forth. All right, so we are going to be reading The Secret Keepers. It's by Trenton Lee Stewart. It's important to know that this is only part of the story, okay? This is actually a chapter book, and HMH has just given us a very little part. You guys may have heard of Trenton Lee Stewart before. He is very famous for writing a 3-book series called The Mysterious Benedict Society. If you have not read it, I highly recommend it. I love the series, and it's on my home bookshelf as well. And so I was excited to be able to read a little bit of this one as well. Throughout this lesson, we're going to be focusing on 2 skills. The first one is point of view, which we haven't hit too hard yet this year. And point of view essentially is trying to analyze who is telling the story, okay? And there's 2 main types of points of views that we're going to be looking at in 5th grade. One is first person, the other is third person. If it's first person, then that means that the person telling the story is the person in the story. So like right now, if I say, I am going to the store, that is first person. Versus third person is somebody kind of like outside of the story telling the story. So if I were to say Miss Moon is going to the store, that's in third person, okay? And we can utilize these pronouns to help us. If it is third person, okay, there's 2 types of third person. The first one is limited, and that means that the narrator knows and shares the thoughts of only one character, often the main character of the story. This is one that we see a lot. The other point of view is omniscient, which means that the narrator knows everything and shares the thoughts of all the characters, okay? So that's the first skill that we're going to be looking at. The other skill that we're going to be focusing on is retelling, okay? So retelling a story, we're thinking about the who, what, when, and where is good as well, and then thinking about the but, what problem does the main character face, and then how is the problem resolved at the end. We can utilize sequence words to help us make sure that we're getting that order correctly. It is important that it is in sequential order. Sequential order means that it goes first, next, then later, last. And we will be working on a sequencing and summarizing activity for lesson 3. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start it off together. So we are in our either the first page of our digital text, or if you are in your HMH My Book 2, you should be on page 279. And we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and, let's see if I can make it look nice. There we go. I want you to go ahead and pause and read this paragraph right here, and then we're going to come back together and talk about it. All right, so you should have read this. So this sets up our story, okay? It's important for us to go ahead and set up this story because, again, we don't have the full story. We're only having a part of it. Okay, so what do we know? So main character's name is Reuben. He's 11 years old. He's found this unusual looking pocket watch and an old key, okay? And he's shown it to a watch expert. And this is not an ordinary watch. She tells him that a mysterious figure known as the Smoke, who secretly rules the city, has been trying to find this watch for many years. Okay, so this sets us up. We realize that this is a mystery because I have this mysterious figure. I don't know what this watch is doing. And it's all revolving around this character of Reuben. All right, so as we are moving forward, excuse me. There we go. All right. So as we're moving forward, I want us to go ahead and read this page, page 280, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to model how I can find the point of view and retelling. So again, go ahead and pause and read the rest of this page, and then we will go ahead and do a quick model, and then I will set you off to go ahead and start with your graphic organizer. All right, so we should have paused and gone ahead and read this page. So let's start with point of view. Okay, so which point of view is this? Okay, so I'm going to review back my anchor chart. Okay, is it first person or third person? That's my first step. Well, I know it's third person because it's talking about Reuben. And it's talking about Reuben in the third person. So Reuben could think of nothing else. He took the stairs. He had the watch in his hand. Okay, so I know that this means that this is going to be third person. Now I have to think about, is it limited or omniscient? Well, at this point, it seems like it's going to be limited because I'm only hearing and understanding Reuben's thoughts and feelings. They haven't said anything else, but that might change because we're only at the beginning. All right, so that's my point of view. It's important for me to know the point of view because it's going to help me kind of understand and better retell the story. All right, now I want to go ahead and retell what happened on this page. So again, when we're retelling, we want to think about, let me make sure that I can show that anchor chart. There we go. I want to think about who's the main character, what does the main character want, what problem does the main character face, and how is the problem resolved at the end. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use some notes to go ahead and do this. Let's see, I have to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Okay, so maybe it won't let me do notes here. Oh, that's okay. We'll just go ahead and write it. Okay, so who is this about? Okay, so this is all about Reuben. So if I was to retell this, this is all about Reuben. And what is Reuben doing? Reuben is racing home. I know that he's racing home and he's getting to his apartment. After he gets to his apartment, he goes ahead and eats a quick lunch. And then he decides that he's going to go ahead and figure this whole thing out. In order to figure it out, he takes the watch out and he tries to wind it up. And he notices that every 15 minutes, he has to wind it up again. So now he knows that something is definitely up with the watch and he needs to figure out what it was. All right, so that's how I retold. This is an important thing to do as you read. Just retell to yourself so that way you can remember the important parts. I did not read the whole thing again. I summarized, I retold the important parts. All right, friends, go ahead and you can move on to the next part of our graphic organizer. Read those pages 280 to 283. Then you have a stop, think, and write question, and then you can come back and we'll watch the second instructional video.